their finances there. OK reported Prince William and Prince Harry have healed their rift and are very much back on the old buddy terms. This isn't true. We know it's not. One thing I want to say about this is they're going to be living in Portugal. So they cleared out already a few weeks ago so that Harry and Meghan could stay with their family at Frogmore Cottage. So he needs to keep that lease, and I'll tell you why. I believe he wants to keep the lease not only for tax reasons, but I think he thinks he's going to be able to convince somebody to be half in, half out. They know they need a place to stay. They know they need the royal family as part of their branding. Plus, I feel like he has to have a residence in the UK, or he could easily be removed from Counselor of State for Her Majesty to step in if the need arises. So this just goes on to say, ahead of the Queen's Platinum Jubilee, sounds like there's no tension between them. This is all put out, I believe, by Harry and Meghan's camp. Harry and Meghan renew the Frogmore Cottage lease, an unexpected hint that they won't disappear. No, they don't want to disappear, but I don't think Meghan wants to go back there and spend any amount of time. I think Harry does, and he wants to keep it for those reasons that I just mentioned. But I don't think Meghan wants to pay rent on this because I think she thinks it's a waste of money. So again, the Mirror reports that they'll stay at Frogmore Cottage during the Queen's Platinum Jubilee. I'm not going to spend much time on this, but just says they committed to a new 12-month rolling deal last month, so for 1 year. And it says, by agreeing to extend a lease and with Jack and Eugenie focusing on Portugal, they have a firm presence smack bang in the middle of the Windsor court where it's all happening. They can now come and go anytime they please. I think Harry thinks he'll get Meghan to come back and forth, but I don't think that's happening. And if it wasn't for this huge celebration and knowing that this is going to be the most promoted event in the history of the monarchy and people from around the world, she's going to do anything she can to get in the paper, and she did do that, and I just discovered it. There was a man arrested in the grounds of Buckingham Palace, told staff he wanted to see the Queen, and this just came up yesterday, so I guess the man suffers from mental illness, and he said, I want to see the Queen. A court has heard. He allegedly, this man, Connor Attridge, walked through the vehicle gate as the royal muse, and that would be the horses, on Sunday night when it was open to allow them through an authorized car. So it says he appeared on the dock on Tuesday, charged with trespassing on a protective site on May 29th. And the arrest comes amid heightened security around the palace in the run-up to the Queen's Platinum Jubilee. So enough about him. The Archbishop of Canterbury urges people to step back a bit on Prince Andrew. He's seeking to make amends. Now, it doesn't matter, whether you believe he's guilty or innocent with what occurred with Virginia. I just think that even besides that, he settled, and he probably did that for Her Majesty. They probably wanted that to go away leading up to the Jubilee. But still, he's done a lot of other things, like all of this investigation where he's reportedly taken money from a guy. And we know that Duchess of York, his ex-wife, has sold, I guess you would say, you pay her, and she, as she says, doors open up, and it means you can have meetings with him and be invited to different things with him, but for money, and money was taken for one of the daughter's weddings, and then money for the other daughter. So all of those things are still wrong, and he might be trying to make amends with his family and with his mother, but he needs to be doing it with his maker. And I don't think an archbishop should get involved and speak out. I guess this is why Harry and Meghan like him so much, because, and I don't know, just in my opinion, it appears that he's a little bit woke. And but he has had to step away because he has COVID, so he won't be doing the service that'll be happening today on Friday. But so I guess that throws out any chances that Harry and Meghan might have of ringing him up and saying, can we fit in a small christening because you christened Archie? I'd like to have you christened Lilybeth. So I don't think that's going to be possible. and I don't think the Queen would allow it anyway, and that's Mr. Welby. Forgiveness really does matter. I think we have become very, very unforgiving society. There's a difference between consequences and forgiveness. And with all of the things that have happened in the church, Catholic Church, and I am Catholic, that he needs to be telling people to move on and about forgiveness. If I not that we shouldn't forgive, but I just don't think he needs to be instructing people on how to do that, or standing up or speaking on behalf of Andrew. I don't know that he has permission to do that. Harry and Meghan will keep it simple to avoid overshadowing Queen on her Jubilee. Sussexes will go to St. Paul's service, but won't plan on events after traveling to UK with limited security team. Oh, please. That they had security that greeted them whenever they touched down at the airport, and it was her 3 top security people that were going over to protect them. And they may say they'll keep a low profile, but we'll see if that happens. And after what I've just discovered, thanks to Royal Archholes on Instagram, then that's not necessarily the case. So this was one of the polls, and it may be even worse. And it says just days leading up to it, the polls were Harry is a negative 26, Meghan a negative 42, and Andrew a negative 80. And the Queen is with a positive 69. Prince William, the Duchess of Cambridge, and I think it's gone up. Now I think it's even the Duchess of Cambridge, maybe even above Prince William, then Prince Charles, and then the Duchess of Cornwall. GB News, a Buckingham Palace spokesperson, said that all the correct procedures were followed, and this is probably, I don't know if you guys had heard about this, but the Queen's plane was forced to abort landing in London, and this was on Tuesday as she traveled home to Windsor Castle. It had been reported that Buckingham's Palace spokesperson said the Queen's flight was delayed due to a lightning storm. All the correct procedures were followed. The Queen's 13-seater was caught in an electrical storm, rain, and hail, which forced the pilot to abandon landing on the first attempt. The Sun reports earlier on Tuesday, Buckingham Palace said the head of state had arrived back at her Berkshire royal residence. So that must have shaken her nerves quite a bit. Anytime you're in the air in a thunderstorm like that, just turbulence alone, but having to abort the first landing and I guess go into a circle pattern and then go back into land again. Must have been frightening, but thank God she's okay. She had traveled to Balmoral on Thursday for a short break in order to pace herself ahead of the busy 4-day weekend of festivities and came back on Tuesday. First time in history, Britain has celebrated a Royal Platinum Jubilee. Patriotic tributes to the Queen around the UK include a life-size woolen knitted monarch, plus corgis made by Holmes Chapel Community, yarn bombers in Cheshire, and a 5-foot 3-inch Victoria sponge cake in the shape of a sovereign by social media star Lauren Mason. The commentators kickstart the traditional trooping of the Color Military Spectacular Thursday, and I was up at 5 a.m. I've just crossed into the next day, but 5 a.m. Thursday to watch this. So this just goes on to talk about events that she may or may not be able to be at. And it said that the Queen had planned ahead to visit Epsom for the Derby on Saturday, and that right now that's off, and the Princess Royal will be attending on her behalf. And then it's also said that she will be not at the service on Friday, that due to the nature of all of the events that she attended Thursday, that she feels she needs to take a rest and whatever she needs to do. But then the bottom paragraph said, Saturday is also the first birthday of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex daughter Lilibet. Amid speculation, the Queen will get to meet her namesake for the first time and possibly attend her christening when Harry and Meghan fly back to the Jubilee. So I don't think there's going to be a christening, and I don't think that the Queen, if she's not feeling well and not even attending the church service, would certainly not be going over to attend a birthday party. That who's going to be there, because the Cambridge family and their children won't, because the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge will be over in Wales that particular time. So I don't think that any working royals will be attending their child's birthday party. But I will say that and I may have mentioned this in a previous video, that Richard Eden is on Palace Confidentials, and they had said, one of the female journalists on there said that other journalists are the ones that received invites to Lily's birthday party at Frogmore Cottage, and they asked if they were going, and they're like, no, hardly. So anyway, let's just go on. And of course, Meghan was seen in her hat that was not appropriate at all to be in. It looks to me like it would be something worn in Saint-Tropez or the south of France. So this is one of the light things that were focused up on the palace today, and I'll go into it and give you a little bit more outside of that. The ceremony, and I've put up video shorts from the Royal Family channel of the lights where the Queen touches the globe and the lights go up and all the way by the choir and lights up the tree. And this is Prince William just before that all started. And you can see the choir over there in the back and the tree all lit up, and he's going over to meet with some of the school children. But I thought the celebrations outside of there were absolutely wonderful. It was spectacular, and I was so happy to see so many people to attend and wait for so long days. People have camped out and been there. This is a good thing of the light show that is reflected back on the palace, and the tree that was lit up with the lights. But you can see those on the video shorts that I've put up. Just amazing. It really was. And I was so happy that the Queen was able to make it. This was one of the wonderful singers that led the choir, and I thought the song was beautiful. I'm sorry I don't recall the name of it. And but it was just amazing. And here he brings in, and I forgot what the globe is supposed to represent, but it was laid on a lidded pedestal for the Queen, and Her Majesty touched it, and then the lights on the ground lit up, and a trail lit up all the way to the tree on the outer part of the gates. But I thought it was fabulous, and she looked gorgeous today. Oh, now she's carrying the cane from that was once belonged to her beloved husband, the late Prince Philip, and then she was carrying a cane with a U-shaped handle on the balcony today, and I believe they said that was presented to her by the army as a gift. So here is where she touches this, and the pedestal light changes colors, and then the lights on the ground all light up. But if you'll look at the video shorts, you'll see that all go across. But it was just amazing. I thought it was fabulous. And it goes right up and lights up that tree. And the choir is singing that song. And I just felt so much unity and love. And it was very emotional. I got very emotional seeing the Queen. And I'm just so happy that she's lived long enough to be able to see and meet this milestone. And I just hope that she'll be able to attend many of the events, and I hope she feels the love around the world and the good wishes that people are sending her. And that was the choir. They were just really beautiful, beautiful music. And then people out on the mile, and when they start to come in, and it's amazing that the lamps and stuff that are lit all around the world. And then who is not on the balcony, but who walks by a window, and it seems as if the window has been lifted and the white sheer drapes have been pulled back, and she is there with other children, and it looks like Zara Phillips, Mike Tyndall's kids, and I'm not sure who some of the others are, but there's Harry, you know, shh, keep quiet, we mustn't be loud. And there's Meghan doing it, knowing the entire time that she is standing in front of a window and that she's been blocked from being able to get in the media. And I thought William did something purposely today when they walked out on the balcony, that he kind of motioned for his wife, Catherine, the Duchess of Cambridge, to stand beside the Queen, and he stood on the other side of her. You can see Louis and Catherine and Charlotte, and then there's George and William over to the right. But look at the massive number of people that are in the reserved seating, in the stands, and on the mile. And it's a sea of people, and it goes on forever and ever. And love the flags, the hat, and many of the people were wearing clothing of the Union Jack flag. But it was, yeah, like this lady, it was just wonderful. And this is the gun salute. I think it was 72 guns. Here is when they're walking out on the balcony, Her Majesty and Prince Charles and all the people have flooded down to the front and around the fountain, and Camilla. And then they're coming out and getting set up. And then you have the Countess, Count and Countess of Wessex, Viscount Severn, Lady Louise, and then I think the father, he's just on the other end, and then the Cambridges, the Queen, and Philip and Camilla. But it was just beautiful. And I thought it was nice that it was the scaled down like it had been at previous Jubilees. The trooping of the color was just amazing. And here we have the fly past or flyover, and you have the helicopters coming in. And little Louis just stole the show today because of all the amazing facial expressions that he made. It was just absolutely fabulous. And I think the Queen really enjoyed it. It was so wonderful that they were able to come out and to stand on the balcony. I think we would have all been heartbroken if we hadn't been able to see her. And I love this when they released the red, white, and blue colors. Absolutely stunning. I can't imagine what it would be like to see it in person. And there she pops up, and she's using other people's children to do it. And I can see Princess Beatrice's husband to the right, Eduardo Montpelli, and then the Tyndall's kids, and I don't know who the other children are that are there. And it's at the Duke of Kent, I believe, the one who's just written his autobiography. And there she is, taking every opportunity. But they've done good to keep her out. But there were 2 times that she was able to try to get in the limelight. She didn't steal the show, but of course the long lenses, and there was a protest and people that were, you know, of course you're going to have that when you have big events like that, that people see that they're going to be able to get publicity from. And 82 gun salute. So forgive me, I think I said 72 before. But all around the United Kingdom and the Commonwealth, they were different places were doing different things to honor her. And it was 70 aircraft fly past, soars over Buckingham Palace. Those kids were precious. It was so nice to be able to see all of the Cambridge children there. If you were there or have pictures or from your community and you'd like to email them to me, my email is in the description, or you could send it to me on, and also all of the social media pages that I have are there as well. But that little Louis and Charlotte, and then this is when the aircraft were in the lined up to show the 70 years of service. I don't know how they do that, the precision of those and the timing, but it was absolutely perfect. You know, kudos to everybody that was involved in the aircrafts and every part of the Jubilee. And I know that they say the streets are very crowded and there's a lot of tourists there, but I'm so happy to see such a huge turnout. And Her Majesty, just to be able to see her on the balcony, knowing that, you know, we don't know when we'll see this again after the Jubilee services are over, or, you know, or if this was even the last day. I'm sorry, she makes me emotional. I have so much love and respect and admiration for her. And I just think she's probably one of the best people, human beings that's ever lived. And she's just always done the right thing. And she's a shining example of how people should want to be and how they should want to live their life. All the families look gorgeous. And then I have pictures coming up of the carriage ride. There we go. Catherine with Camilla and the 3 Cambridge children are sitting in the carriage directly above them. Catherine reminded me, there was a look of Princess Diana, and she had on sort of a white suit, not like this, and a big white hat with black trim, but it reminded me very much of Catherine. And it's just talking about the ensemble that they're wearing. And this was from one of the newspaper articles. And I was just looking to see the children who wore blue, with William and Kate's youngest son, Prince Louis, wearing the sailor's outfit and white trim and navy blue stripes. He looked just like his dad, William, when he wore a sailor outfit to Trooping of the Color back in June of 1985, when he was just 2 years old. The four-year-old is 5th in line to the throne, while his grandfather, Prince Charles, is 1st in line, followed by his father, William. Absolutely stunning. Queen Elizabeth ascended to the throne on February the 6th, 1952, following the death of her father, King George VI. Starting Thursday, the Platinum Jubilee celebration will include everything from the traditional Trooping of the Color to the birthday parade for the Queen to a star-studded concert led by Diana Ross, thousands of street parties across the country. And I believe there were a lot of Hollywood stars that were there. And even Johnny Depp was over there performing with his band. And I just think a lot of people have went over to show their love and admiration and support to the entire royal family. And I think the Queen has done a great job and has her staff watching over Harry and Meghan and keeping them on a very short leash. And after she pulled the little stunt today, once they find out, I think that the leash will be even shorter. But it says royal family watches the military jets fly over Buckingham Palace. And it was a beautiful day for weather. And it says that the people that were on the balcony included, of course, Prince Charles, Camilla, Prince William, Catherine, the Duchess of Cambridge, and their children, George, Charlotte, and Louis, Prince Edward and Sophie, Countess of Wessex, and their children, Lady Louise, and Viscount Severin James, Princess Anne and Admiral Sir Timothy Lawrence, Prince Richard and Birgit, Duchess of Gloucester, and Prince Edward, Duke of Kent, and Princess Alexandra. And then you can see the future king right there, George. Just amazing. I love this. And there's Beatrice behind the kids as they're looking out the window, I guess, when before going out onto the main balcony. But look at that. They've got to just be gobsmacked at the number of people. Look at this of Catherine. Absolutely stunning. And I love that she's wearing the beautiful sapphire necklace and earrings that have been changed up a little bit, but that were part of Diana, Princess of Wales collection. Look at that. Those little kids. I think that's the first time they've been able to go in a carriage ride like that, all 3 of them. And then there is William, their father. And then, of course, you have Princess Royale, Anne. And you have Charles, who very much wearing the hat down low. He very much reminds me of Prince Philip from the lower eyes down. Very much like his father there. And then you have Lady Louise and Viscount Severin, the brother, mother and father. Absolutely. The Trooping of the Color was just amazing too. Look at the smoke in the sky and looking coming down the mall and the military bands. And I don't know if you had saw this. I posted this somewhere on my social media that this was from ITV News Royals. This is Stonehenge in Salisbury, UK, and they had lit up images of the Queen on the different rocks at Stonehenge. So, Prince Harry, satisfied with the security his family will receive during their trip to the UK, he makes it seem like that they got the IPP status or the kind of security he wanted. He didn't. The Queen had made it clear whenever they came over that he would be protected. Piers Morgan, I had someone send this to me on Instagram. Now I've forgotten who it was, but you know who you are, and thank you very much for sending it to me. And it was just showing some of the facial expressions of Louis as, look at that, so precious. He looks so much more grown up than the last time I saw him. Thank you, Roger. This is one of my viewers. He's just showing the small towns and where he lives several hours away, and the bunting and how all of the towns were getting into it. And this was the lighting, and this is from the royal family. Can hear a little bit of the choir there. Now, this, I think I have to turn down the volume on this. But I did put those up on video shorts so you can see them. So they are out on video so you can watch them in full. And I showed you where I received each of those from. There's the 70 and the flowers. I am so grateful that so far, knock on wood, the weather has held off. And of course, then we had to get into the not so nice things. And Omid Scobie, who is, of course, working for Yahoo Online Writing, since he's not a really royal reporter for anybody else. When a toxic parent has a long history of causing stress, anxiety, and pain through abusive behavior, manipulative games, cutting out is often only the answer. Meghan doesn't owe Thomas Markle a blank thing. Yeah, go ahead and say that. But why don't you go back and look? Because I remember when Meghan was writing the TIG and had her Instagram page, there was only rave reviews about the father and how she couldn't be where she is today and accomplish the things that she have without the love and support of her wonderful father. But anyway, so he just goes on to talk about that and saying that alongside a conveniently captured video photo of Chula Vista, California hospital stretcher, like they wouldn't do it, a well-known paparazzi photo agency. He's sitting here talking about Backgrid, the agency that buys and sells photos of popular people or royals or famous people and sell it to papers and magazines, the rags, whoever. And when Meghan actually uses them, when you look at the polo match and a lot of other ones, when they were delivering meals during lockdown, they used Backgrid. So it just goes on to talk about the father, and I'm not going to read all this. And it says that, it just says, and the faithful summer British media outlets didn't take long to turn their attention to how the Duchess of Sussex should be react and visit your sick father, wrote one British paper. Well, we do believe that. And while I don't understand his relationship with Carl and don't know that I trust this exactly. And I will say this, I reached out to Thomas Markle Jr. The day that those pictures were in there, and I reached out to Carl Lawson, and I have not heard back from either one. I asked very specific questions. Did they know who took the picture of Mr. Markle on the stretcher, and who sold it to Backgrid? And I asked specific questions about, him and being there and who knew, and was Carl working with Meghan since he was taking pictures of her at the polo match. and I asked them if they wanted to comment so that I could put it out and set the record straight because of what some of the people had felt about them, that there were conspiracy theories going around about their involvement and so forth. So would they like to clear that up? And I've not heard back from either. But I know that they've each seen it. So he goes on to say 1 in 5 Britain think that that it should become a republic ahead of Queen's Platinum Jubilee. I don't think that that's an accurate reporting. It could be, but it could be from one of the papers who tend to side with it being a republic. So anyway, so it just goes on to talk a little bit more about him and the father. He just puts him down. So then I said this and posted it and said that it's sad when Meghan has to rely on Scooby-Doo to push her narrative in the UK about how she cannot accept her father back in her life because he is so toxic. This comes after she has burned all of her bridges with journalists in the UK, but how her always faithful sycophant Scooby-Doo, who is basically an ex-royal reporter who now writes for Yahoo Online and reports to the ex-royals and how hard done they have been by everyone. We understand you owe a large sum of unpaid taxes, Scooby-Doo, so I'm sure you could join in and sweep the blank off the streets for the next week. You would feel right at home since that's where the people are you surround yourself with. Oh, and by the way, did you receive your royal invite to Lily's birthday party on Saturday along with the other real journalists? Perhaps you can dress like a clown and do face painting for a little more extra money since your book didn't sell. Now go write about how jealous we all are. Not. Put in a phone call to your bot friend in New Jersey. Tell him I have the latest report. I was sent a complimentary copy from a loyal source. I found it laughable and made up with lies and no substance. You two are the real haters. Now be gone as you have been dismissed. Much love to all the royal fans who read this. So we all know who we're talking about, and I'm not even going to mention their real names, but how they try to say that we're hate accounts when we're not. But this is what I want to talk to you about. This is bulletproof cars, Range Rovers, that Meghan was in, and this is off of Neil Sean, and that's Neil on the left. But as he said, that you don't put the windows down when you're driving because that's what protects you with bulletproof windows, and you can see Harry looking but can't see her face because her hat is tilted. What did she do? Because she couldn't be seen anywhere or get attention, Meghan put the window down and waved to people and hollered at fans. She probably had a fan group set up on a certain street because they weren't even in the car very long since they're on palace grounds, but we're going to a different location to be able to watch the ceremony and the balcony today. So they were actually somewhere else. So Harry has given her a look, and I'm sure they were warned not to do anything to upstage the Queen. So what it does, it makes the headlines of a paper and says, guess who's back? And then it shows Harry and Meghan exploiting the kids of Zara and Mike Tyndall. And I don't know who all the children are there. And they're going, shh, because supposedly they were looking out a window that was raised and the white sheer curtains pulled back, which that's not something you would do. Even the royals don't even stand behind the curtains and open them up. They walk out on the balcony and then they walk in, and they have snipers and stuff up on the roof. And there it's going by. So Meghan just had to do what she could, and she made the headlines of one of the papers. Not only that, thanks to royal.archholes on Instagram, had posted this. And this is a website called Chiffon. And it's jewelry, clothing, and different things. But guess what? It says, love seeing our duet pinky ring spotted on Meghan Markle. More to come soon. Pinky's up. So Meghan's there with the kids holding up her hand to show this tiny spiral pinky ring. And those kids, without the permission of their parents or without their knowledge, are actually getting their pictures put on this site. So you tell me if she didn't plan to get in the window and use those kids to go over and do that. Tell me what your opinion is. So I went on there and I said, you do not have the permission to use these images of these minor children in your advertising. I think you need to remove these photos immediately, as these have already been reported. Stop exploiting other people's children. So that's Meghan's little thing that she does. And this is the Instagram page, and they're in London in the UK. So when their parents find out, and believe me, they will find out, because I let Mike Tyndall know and said, Mr. and Mrs. Tyndall, Meghan is using your children to promote jewelry on an Instagram page. I posted that these photos need to be removed because it exploits your children without your permission. I will let you know if I see anything else. I'm an American and I cannot stand Meghan Markle for how she has treated Her Majesty, your family, and the good people of the UK. And then I just go on to tell him, God bless the Queen and so forth. But so that's what Meghan got away with on day one. She's managed to make the cover of one of the papers saying, guess who's back? And that she managed to get into the windows of that, pull back the curtains, raise a window, or stood in front using the kids as a ploy to pretend like she was getting down at their level because they're looking out the window, so that she could show the jewelry and show that she was there because she hadn't been seen. And that's why she did that with putting the window down. That's a breach of security. And if they're so worried about security in the UK, why didn't Harry reach over and tell her to put a window up, or why would she put it down in the first place? But anyway, we're not going to let them overshadow anything. They're being watched. The Netflix cameras won't be able to get to them, only maybe a long lens camera. And then after they found out and see them on the cover of something else, I imagine their leash will be shorter. And I don't even think that there'll be a birthday party or a christening. And I don't think that Her Majesty will be stopping to go and attend anything that they're holding. They won't be able to get the photo with Her Majesty tomorrow going to the service at the church. And I'm wondering if where they'll be seated, and I bet you this time Kate and William won't try to satisfy them when they pitch a fit and find out they're not walking in with the other working royals, and that Sophie and Edward will be walking in ahead of them. And I hope they're not even in the line of sight, and that Harry and Meghan are seated somewhat far away so that the cameras don't even pick them up. And I'm glad that the BBC and other newspapers and TV stations decided not to put them in with their coverage today, and let this be about the Queen. And shame on whichever paper did do that. Anyway, that's all I have right now. I'll be covering the next day. I hope everybody's enjoying it. Please send me pictures by email or on my social media accounts. Share any family picnics or parties or anything that you're doing, or even your community decorations that you'd like to have let us be able to share on here. And I wish you all a happy day, and God save the Queen, and happy birthday, Your Majesty. And congratulations to all the people in the UK and the Commonwealth. And know that around the world we're sending our love and congratulations to your Queen, to your monarchy, and to each of you. Have a wonderful celebration. Thank you so much for watching.